strenuous than I thought.
What, the workout?
Yeah, it was pretty. It worked me.
Yep.
What to
Yep.
say?
Yeah,
So
I
just put
have
the
a, I
God
have a
versus-
client. I have
Okay.
a client that's in the hotel like every week or every other week. So she's crazy. So I destroy her. So I gave you some difficult workouts, but
Yeah.
nothing you can't handle. All right. So this is Troy, everybody. Troy has been a client of mine for what, three months, I would say, a little bit
3
more.
months?
And
Oh no.
so far, Troy,
Battery die.
yeah, so far he's seen some awesome results. So just real quick, Troy, if you could just state your age and what do you do for work?
I am 60 years old. I will be 61 in about 2 months. I am a Catholic priest, so I'm a full-time minister.
Awesome. Awesome. And what was your experience with like physical fitness before joining Pursuit?
Well, I've been a member of 3 or 4 fitness clubs over the last 10 years, I would say. Not much really prior to that. I did a lot first initially on my own, and that wasn't very effective. I needed some guidance. I had 2 in-person trainers, actually no, 3, one very briefly, but 3 total. And that was somewhat successful. It depends. One was really great in that it started me on a weight loss program. I am a former smoker. So I quit smoking probably about 22 years ago and put on about 50 pounds in that 20 years. And so that was one of the main motivations for that. My cholesterol numbers were awful. My triglyceride numbers were awful. So got to a gym, had a trainer. I'd never had a trainer before. And that worked really well. And then that person had to move on to a different place. And I went to 2 other places and wasn't as happy. And I really wasn't sure about an online trainer actually, but it's worked out well.
Awesome. Awesome. And then, so what were your goals when you were coming in? What did you come for us for? Come to us for?
The main reason was to continue my weight loss and increase my percentage of muscle in ratio to body fat. So work on that.
Awesome. And how's that been going for you so far?
Well, I've lost about 10 pounds in that 3-month period. The muscle mass is coming. That's a bit slower process, I'm finding. Trying to eat a regulated diet of 1,800 calories that doesn't include a lot of carbohydrates has been harder than I thought. I'm doing it. I'm not always getting 1,800 calories, but I'm trying to be a carnivore. But here in the South, we like all kinds of things besides meat. And so it's coming.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I guess I'm feeling like, well, I got to lose some fat before I worry about some muscle. So I'm beginning to round that corner, I think.
Yeah, and you've actually done a great job with that. With your in-body scan, you can see that when your weight went down, it was body fat. I think your muscle mass was like pretty stagnant, which is good because a lot of people will crash diet and they'll lose a lot of muscle mass too, and then have to rebuild it. Pretty consistent with that, which is awesome. And don't worry, carbs aren't totally evil, but when you have a goal to achieve, you want to get it done.
It's really hard for me to live within a portion, and I like to cook, but I don't like to cook for one person. And so I tend to make too much. And that's the other difficulty, not throwing it away. I have to eat it rather than pitch it. So anyway, it's coming along.
I turn into a nighttime zombie sometimes. I'll make too much steak and I end up sleepwalking into the fridge and eating steak, but at least it's not Oreos.
Yeah, I can't buy stuff that I bring in my house because whatever comes in gets eaten.
Smart man. And then if you could just talk about what do you think about like our knowledge as trainers and the way that the company operates on our customer service, like what's your experience with that?
Well, I'll have to say that initially when I talked to Stefan, and he quoted me the price. I had a bit of a sticker shock, but it is what I paid for a year for the last gym I was a member of, and a trainer was in addition to that. So, what I liked, one of the first things that he said to me was the goal was to get me to a point where I didn't have a trainer. And
Right.
so I liked that. I didn't like the fact that someone was looking to keep me in a training relationship forever, because I do have limited funds. I mean, so this is a fiscal sacrifice for me to do. This is not coming from my excess of funds, which is part of why I'm taking it seriously, because I can't afford not to, literally. And the other thing the best thing about having a trainer is I need someone to tell me what to do. And if you just put me in a gym and say, okay, you've got an hour and 15 minutes, go do something. I can do that, but it's not pushing me. And so that the app is great. All I have to do is do exactly what you said and what you've loaded for the day. And I don't think about it. I just do it. I do it as many times. I'm not a techie person at all. And so the idea that I would watch a recording of someone doing an exercise rather than you standing there over me while I do it didn't appeal to me initially. But now that I've gotten into it, it's fine. If I have questions, you're very good at responding and having a conversation about it. Let me take a video, send it to you, check the form, that kind of stuff. So that part of it's great. I don't think the food app thing is yours. That's not proprietary to your company, but that's really helpful because I've never like counted calories and stuff. I mean, I had to weigh stuff before, and that was a total pain. And
Yeah.
I just can't do that. I mean, and all these Tupperware containers in the refrigerator and finding all these meals, and it's like, oh my God, that became a goal in itself, was arranging the bowls and the lids and weighing it. And it's like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. And I don't have to do that. So this is much easier in terms of eating.
Yep.
Sometimes I realize, oh my God, it's 6 o'clock and my carbs are way out of whack. So I have a protein shake and a steak at 8:30 instead of, well, I should have stopped eating, but I'm also on a fasting regimen that my doctor suggested for me. And that was something that you all affirmed. That was very helpful to me, that you were working along with my medical doctor's advice to try and lower my sugar count. That's been a stubborn thing with me for some reason. My other numbers are like a 16-year-old now, but not my sugar. It's still over 100, and I don't want that. So
yeah, that's the lifestyle and long-term change that obviously has, improved.
Yeah, and I'm 60, not 25 too. I mean, that does factor in, but I feel better for the first 2 weeks of fasting from 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night until noon. That was a killer for me, but now I'm kind of used to it. Now being here away from home for a week, I'm eating this hotel breakfast, and it's like, it tastes great, but I'm ready to go back home and do my regular regimen. So. But you all have been really good, very helpful.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Obviously, you make our job easier too. I don't have to chase you down, ask you where you've been. You're really consistent with everything. And again, we're not robots. Obviously, you're like, hey, I'm traveling here, I'm doing this or whatever. Progress is not 100% linear. So if you see a standstill for a week or whatever, it doesn't really matter to you because you're right there. So which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Not, hey, you haven't done anything in 3 weeks. but that's awesome. And then one last thing, what would you say, like, what would you think, what type of clients you think that we would do a great job? Like, who would you recommend? What type of person would you recommend us to?
Well, I would recommend pursuit to someone who is ready to take this seriously. If you've never been in a gym before, if you have never done any kind of workout at all, unless you're an extremely self-motivated, highly disciplined person, I really wouldn't recommend this. I don't think if this was my first attempt at trying to get in shape that I could do this. I would need at least other people around me. Now I do go to a regular gym, and that it's a real musclehead gym, and it was very intimidating initially, but I've just discovered that gyms are basically about people who are into themselves and they're not worried about looking at me, and that's fine. And but Yeah, I think someone who is maybe got some experience but hasn't made the kind of progress that they wanted to make before, that'd be good. For people who are very comfortable with technology, this, and have never had a trainer before, this would be probably really easy for you because you're used to Zoom meetings and online communication. That was a real learning curve for me. And that took me a good 6 weeks to get comfortable with just the means of communicating. And, but for people that do that all the time, I don't think it's a big deal. But again, I really think you have to be self-motivated. And because you're not face to face in person, and standing there and saying, come on, do it again, lift that one more time, you got to do it yourself. And so I think that's what I have felt has made me successful so far, that I wanted to do this. And I had tried some other in-person trainers and I was dissatisfied with it, honestly. And so that's why, and those weren't bad experiences necessarily. They just didn't push me to the extent that you have in a short amount of time. And that was something that I needed, but I guess maybe I should have demanded more as a customer too, saying, look, this is not really is not working for me. No, I mean, this is a good thing for particularly people who have irregular schedules, because you can do this anytime, really. Yep. I mean, even though you set up a schedule, it's like, oh, well, I'm sick this day, or I have a meeting. Well, okay, I'll go to the gym the next day, or I'll go that night instead of in the morning. I mean, my schedule is completely flexible and unpredictable. I may have a funeral and I can't do the morning workout, so I either do it the next day or I do it that night. And so that's one of the real advantages to this versus, oh, I have a 3-day-a-week appointment, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:30 with a trainer. And if I don't make that appointment, well, they can't work me in at some other time. Now, I'm out the money because they charged me anyway, because their time was valuable and I wasn't there. And so that's one real advantage of this, is the flexibility of it all. And I also like the fact that you create workouts based on my needs. One of the things I told you initially is that I have a history of shoulder problems. And that is one thing that consistently has been in what you have sent me. Do this to protect your shoulder. Don't do it this way because it'll injure your shoulder. Now, that may be, some of that's pre-canned. It's not just for me, but you selected it because that's an issue that I have. And it's something that I'm always guarding against, because I don't want to have rotator cuff surgery. So
100%. Anyway. And I think one of the important things people don't understand is, like, you're in Kentucky and I'm in Arizona, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we don't have to worry about, I'm not training you via Zoom. I'm not like sitting there like this, hey, do these, you have to follow me around the gym and everything. it's pretty independent, and that's the beauty of it. We've kind of figured out a way to help as many people as we can, and we kind of help you help yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's not my goal. I tell people, I'm like, I'm not going to be a trainer forever. Whether it's 1 year, whether it's 4 years, whether it's 6. I have some people that can't get rid of me. You know, but they are more self-sufficient. And if I were to ever disappear or move to Thailand or you know, go somewhere and I'm like, I'm done with fitness or whatever, which is highly unlikely, you'll know what to do. When you're in the gym, you'll be like, oh, remember what Mike said, you know, I don't want my shoulder to hurt when I'm benching. I better not bench near my neck. I better take it down low and, you know, make sure I'm a little more narrow gripped. Just stuff like that. It definitely sticks with you over time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got for you, Troy. I appreciate you putting in all the hard work, and, you know, it's 50-50 or 100 really. You put in 100% effort, I'm going to put in 100% effort too, because this is stuff that gets me excited. It makes me want to do my job when somebody's all in. You're sweating at the gym doing the interview right now. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, this looks very staged. It's like,
Listen,
Oh wow.
do 20 burpees and
this
then
is totally
jump on.
corny.
Yeah. Well, I love it. All right, so that concludes the interview. Let me just pause the recording real quick, or stop the recording.